Welcome to Headingley. This is where it all started for me 50 years ago. It's been a tremendous adventure. Now come with me while I get changed for the start of play. Well, I'm ready. Not to umpire. I'm going out to bat. Flipping heck. Courtney Walsh? I hope he's not going to try to get his own back for that time when I gave Michael Atherton not out.
Oh, is he out? They claim it, and they're oh so confident. Umpire Dickie Bird says no.
Then there was the time when I had to warn Courtney for bowling bouncers at Mike. I wonder if it's too late for me to change my mind about this and go home. Middle and leg, please, umpire. Towards you. A touch. That's middle and leg. Where's he going? I'm sure he's doubled his run-up just for me. Here he comes. Keep your nerve, Dickie, and play straight. That's out.
Tail is off. He's bowling. Dickie Bird can't believe it.
Courtney, I could have done with this equipment when I was umpiring. It would have saved a few bruises.
Umpire's injured. Yes, he hit that pretty hard, as you can see now. And the power of Gooch into that. Very late to take evasive action there. And there were no thanks from Graham Gooch there. The single instead of four.
Not the normal accurate throw from the Pakistan fielders, and umpire Harold Bird is in trouble.
Umpire Bird always makes a habit, if he thinks there's going to be a run out, of taking a stride or two forward. Well, he did, and then he went horizontal. Here we are, Dickie.
Quickly up, umpire Bird, he's down. Fielder stayed on his feet. Nothing worse than falling on your portable telephone. Can do yourself a terrible injury. This is what happened. Martin says no. Goff is trying to get back. And down goes Harold Bird. That is the sort of thing, catching you off balance like that can be quite dangerous. There's a good shot. Bird is in so much pain he virtually only signalled a three.
It's in the air. Oh, just over the top of the outstretched hand. That short extra. And guess who's been hurt now? Cook.
Dickie's acknowledged. And he's got a limp.
It's not only me who has a bruising time. It can be a dangerous place out there in the middle for others too.
Well, this really is a nasty blow because Richardson has smashed this one, and watch the umpire. Bang, right on the head. And really that was a knockout punch. But the credit of BC Correa is still standing. Shane Warne won't mind it. It saved 4 runs.
Well, he's got a grin on his face.
And gives Rod Mars something to think about there.
Oh, watch it, watch it, watch it. Look at that ball. Wow, did the ball hit the stumps? Did the ball rest against the stumps? Graham Thorpe's in some discomfort there, and that's why he totally forgot the ball for that. Right, this is the one. It rolls back towards the stumps. Oh. One more revolution.
It's causing him a moment or two of pain. That'll help him a lot. Just drive them back the other way. Has caused him a problem or two.
I've been rained on, snowed on, I've been frozen to death. The weather can be a real pain in cricket.
Chattel, who's made 112 to face in the pouring rain, as Chris Old comes down to bowl. But I promise you, he's absolutely wet through. Umpire Harold Bird, he wants to get home tonight, doesn't want to come back tomorrow.
Now he's started wearing glasses there, you can see, and I think he's probably looking for his hat or something. Yeah, just keep those spots of rain off the glasses. Can't afford to get a few blurs in front of the eyes, Dickie. That's better.
Sun glinting on something. The door that's open should be shut. That's the one, that's the door. Seventh heaven to be able to sprint back to the umpiring position. Was shining on them. Players were inconvenienced there, and it eventually had to be covered up with black netting.
Inside your box! Shining inside your box!
More and more problems for umpire Harold Bird, and Cyril Mitchley for that case, but it always seems the weight of the world is on umpire Dickie Bird and his shoulders.
This was one of the most amazing matches I ever stood in. The 1972 Gillett Cup semi-final between Lancashire and Gloucestershire at Old Trafford. David Hughes won the match in 1 over.
Come down the wicket, I've no idea. Yes, I have. Yes, gone through extra cover for 4.
It was nearly 9 o'clock, and so dark we needed miners' lamps to see.
That's swung away, could be 6. A tremendous blow by David Hughes. Right over long on for 6 runs. 4 and 6 coming off successive balls. Leaps and dances of delight by all the small boys in Manchester. They're on the field, they should get off fairly quickly because the light must get worse the longer they hold at play. So that brings the difference down to 15. Mortimer again. Challenge accepted, fine off drive. This won't find the boundary. Bissocks is there. They're coming back for the second. And he's come again. Is he going to be safe this time? Yes, he's found the gap. Bring him 2 more runs. Tremendous scenes here at Old Trafford. Lancashire still out there. 11 want it to win. There's certainly 4 more of them there. A magnificent cover drive by Hughes. 10 minutes to 9 in gathering gloom. And Lancashire pressing on. Now just 7 runs away for a momentous victory. Still 4 more overs. John Mortimer in. He's going down again, and that's 6. A magnificent shot. A superb effort this by David Hughes. That's bringing the scores level. The crowd scenes, 22,000 people here have stayed to the bitter end, stayed through the dark, had tremendous value. All over the field, the scores are level. 24 came off that over. And David Hughes, the hero of the hour at Old Trafford. So nothing now for Gloucester to do, but all gather in and try and prevent the single. And Proctor's only chance is a hat-trick. He's not going back off his first run. In he comes. One to face, a bouncer. And listen to the hoots from this crowd. Proctor has been the villain of the piece here over the last hour and a half or so. He's let loose a number of bouncers, and it is very dark now. Lancashire all on their toes. One run wanted for victory to take them once again into the final at Lord's in September. And there it is, that's the winning run. And just look at these scenes. Who's the fastest man? It's David Hughes. He's off halfway into the pavilion. Whole of the Gloucester team now encircled by this enormous crowd coming right across Old Trafford. They're heralding a victory by Lancashire. The man who made it possible, taking a single to win, was their skipper, Jackie Bond.
This is the exact spot where the drains burst at Headingley. England v the West Indies. And we just got the test match started. Curtly Ambrose bowling from my end here, the football stand end at Headingley. And he'd bowl the first 4 deliveries to Gooch, who pushed them all back. And the 5th ball, I was down ready, waiting for Ambrose to come in to bowl the 5th ball of the first over of the test match. And I thought, where is he? Where is he? And I heard this voice say, Dickie, Mr. Dickie Bird, we have got a serious problem back here. Come back and have a look. And halfway through his run-up, on the run-ups, there was water oozing above his boots, and it was just oozing out of the ground. You've never seen anything like it. I thought, oh no. And I shouted to my colleague at Square Leg, I said, we've got some serious problems here. It looks as if the pipes have burst because all the water is oozing out the ground. And it's coming above my boots and Curtly Ambrose's boots. He said, we've got to take them off. I said, take them off? We'll get lynched. So all we trooped off, the players, the 2 umpires, well, the crowd, full house here. The sun was beating down. And who did they start shouting at me? You're here again, Bird. It's every time you come to Headingley, you're always bringing them off. It's not bad light. What is it this time? Sun's belting down. And I turned round to the crowd here at Headingley and I said, what you need out there is not an umpire, but a plumber. And of course the ground erupted. I can't help it if it's a burst pipe what's coming up, can I? Burst pipe, there's water coming up. It's not my fault, that. Welcome to my home. I've got some very special memories here. Memories that I shall treasure for the rest of my life. I shall miss the test match arena. I shall miss the crowds. The crowds to me were very, very special. Mind you, they caused some chaos when I stood in the first World Cup final in 1975, West Indies v Australia. Oh dear.
And it's Holder to Thompson.
And that's it. That's it. He's told him to go back. The overthrow off a no ball again. Overcome the crowd. They think it's over. They didn't see the no ball signalled, and these 2 batsmen are still running, and it's absolute chaos out there. Nobody knows what's happened. They can keep on running. Lily says, keep going. We can run 10 here.
Everybody was in a state of confusion. My umpiring partner, Tom Spencer, asked me how many they'd run. I think it's got to be 4, because the spectators have picked the ball up. Our main concern was getting the total right. Tom signalled the Australian runs to the scorer. And when we finally got the pitch cleared, West Indies went on to clinch a great victory. But the pitch invasion in the World Cup final was nothing compared to what happened when Michael Holding clean-balled Tony Gray. That was after the England captain had said how they were going to make the West Indies grovel. Oh dear, I bet he'd wished he'd never said it. When Greggy was bowled, I think every West Indian living in London came onto the pitch, and it got so out of hand we had to take the players off.
And absolutely no reason for it at all. The umpires absolutely helpless out there. There's nothing they can do to keep this mob away. A couple of policemen have arrived out there on the scene, but they too quite helpless against these people who just streamed over this wicket when Greg lost his middle stump. And the umpire's coming off. Bill Alley and Adalbert said, well, that's up, we're going off.
What I'll miss now that I'm retiring is the funny side of cricket. Just watch this.
Full shot. Evaded all the fielders, straight in the crowd, and there he is. Caught by the gentleman in the hospitality suite.
It is Bob a job week to how to help.
And there's the old streaker.
Streaker on the field. That's the first catch Rodney Marsh has made today.
And they'll have to stop play because the foreign body is on the field.
We're going to have a whole lot of play here for a few moments, I'm afraid. A special messenger perhaps with the tip for the 340 of Goodwood, as he certainly knows the keenest racing man in the lineup.
Oh dear, oh dear. Dennis Lillee, to me, is the greatest fast bowler that I've ever seen. And it was a tremendous pleasure for me to stand in a test match when Dennis Lillee bowled from my end. He had everything. He had beautiful action. And not only was he a great fast bowler, he was a tremendous character. There was always something happened when Dennis bowled from my end, and I always remember in a test match at the Oval, England were playing Australia.
And they're coming in here, just off a few paces. I think taking Adalbert there by surprise. He had a quick look round. I don't think he knew he'd arrived. It's not the way to play cricket, he's saying. He mustn't do things like that.
And Dennis was bowling from my end, and after he only bowled a couple of balls, and he said to me, he said, Dickie, he said, the ball's out of shape. So I had a look at it. I said, Dennis, I'll change it at the end of the over. He said, I want you to change it now. I said, no, I'm not. And Ian Chappell, the Australian captain, came over, and he said, what's going on? And I said, Captain, your fast bowler wants me to change this ball. I said, I've told him I'll have a look at it at the end of the over, but I'm not changing it now. So Ian Chappell said, come on, Dennis, get on with your bowling. And he wasn't very happy, wasn't Dennis. He said, OK, I'll bowl off spinners. So he came off about 2 or 3 paces and bowled 4 off spinners to finish the over, which each one pitched and turned, and the spin bowlers had been trying all test match to turn the ball, and Dennis came on, bowled these 4, and each one turned square. And at the end of the over, I said, let's have a look at the ball, Dennis. I said, it's out of shape, we'll change it. Let's get on with the test match. He could be very fiery at times, and sometimes he overdid the aggression. This was simply because he was such a committed competitor, always wanting to do his best for his team. I know this. I would always have wanted him on my side. I always had great fun with Dennis. We became mates and had some real good laughs together, both on and off the pitch.
Bit of the Groucho Marx there.
Well, it needed the umpire's hat for some action to come, even if it was worn by D. Lilly.
Merv Hughes, one of the great characters, tremendous character. I loved umpiring test matches between England and Australia, and in Australia when Merv were playing. There was always something happening. He always had some fun, always cracked a joke when he was bowling. I always remember he was bowling from my end to Grahamick, and his language wasn't very nice. And I said to him, I said, Merv, I want you to cut this language out, this bad language. I want you to be a nice boy. I want you to get on with your bowling and stop swearing at Mr. Ick. Mr. Ick has done you no harm whatsoever. He got the ball to bowl the next ball to Grahamick, and he walked past me, and he was still mumbling about it. Well, he can't play, this fella Rick, and he's no good and all. He's got to expect one or two, he can't play, and he's mumbling away as he walked past me. I said, Merv, I've asked you to be a good boy and get on with your bowling. He looked at me, did Merv Hughes, as he walked past me to bowl the next ball. He said, Dickie Bird, you're a legend, he said. Cricket is full of great characters, like my old umpiring chum David Constant and Yorkshire's Darren Gough.
And answered beautifully in the negative by David Constant. Well, Darren Gough.
Well, cricketing characters don't come funnier or more unpredictable than Derek Randall. He was always good for a laugh, and was not only a good and sometimes unorthodox batsman, but also an exceptional fielder.
Very quick work there by Randall. Brilliant piece of work. McCusker run out backing up. And you won't see anything much quicker than that on any cricket field in the world.
Malone pushed that. If it hits, it'll be close.
And he's run him out. Superb bit of cricket there by Randall. He's even applauding himself. He's over the moon. He absolutely loves it.
Positioned pretty well for that. Didn't quite time it. He's coming back for a second. And he's going to be out. And it's a magnificent throw again by this remarkable performer.
I've never in my life seen a ball in action quite like that of Paul Adam, the wonderful young South African discovery. No wonder they say he looks like a frog in a blender when he releases the ball. There have been wonderful commentators who've enriched our great game of cricket, such as John Arlott and Richie Beno. Another of my personal favourites was Brian Johnson. He brought so much pleasure into people's homes. He always cracked his jokes, he made people laugh. I mean, I remember John he always said that running backwards when I was running in to get into position for a run out, that I'd win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. He said over 50 yards running backwards, he's never seen anybody as quick. And of course, he always came to see me every morning before a test match started. He always made sure he came into the umpire's room to have a word with the umpires. Now then, Dickie, how are you? Wish you all the best. He was tremendous. And of course, there's always that which people still talk about today when he used to come into the umpire's room and he used to say, come on, Dickie, give me the peacock now, the sound of the peacocks. That will make my day. I said, Jonas, just for you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And he used to say, on that note, Dickie, I will leave you and wish you all the best during the test match. To me, as I say, he was a friend, and I certainly miss him.
He tried to step over the stumps and just flicked a bail with his right hand.
Morris tried to do the splits over it, and unfortunately the inner part of his thigh must have just removed the bail.
He just didn't quite get his leg over.
Anyhow, he did very well indeed, batting 131 minutes and hit 3 fours. Aggers do stop it. Lawrence, Always entertaining. Batted for 35. 35 minutes, hit a 4 over the wicketkeepers. Angus, for goodness sake, stop it. Hit a
Yes, Lawrence played extremely well.
He hit a 4 over the wicketkeeper's head, and he was out for 9. And Tafel came, batted for 12 minutes, then was caught by Haynes on Patson for 2, and there were 54 extras, and England were all out for 419. I've stopped laughing now.
Cricket can be a funny old game, you know.
Is the ball dead or not? I don't know, Danny Morrison. I don't think Barry... Yes, he's just called dead ball. Oh, wow. Well, what happened there? What happened there?
This was one for the record. When I gave Graham Gooch out-handled ball.
Out-handled the ball in tests. Endine, Russell Endine, Hilditch, Mohsin Khan and Desmond Haynes. A handy quartet of batters.
It's called no ball, but Goff won't mind that. It's called a no ball because of the height. It went past the position, went past Adam's shoulder, and very, very nearly had the batsman just kicking over his stumps. Goes.
David Gower slip in and the keeper falling over the top of him.
Right, all in good humour. Problems there. Could be quite nasty.
There's a tightest single here. Osler pushes him to the offside. Just keep your eye on Dermot Reeve. Throw comes in and the batsman... Pretty tough fellow, the Dermot Reeve.
It's in the air. Three guys after it. 2 of them are going to crash.
And he's gone. He's dropped it.
Should be out. And this is the difficult... Oh, lost it in the sun. Oh, gracious me.
Excellent running. And there may be problems here for Fairbrother. Hasn't got much protection on that head.
Neil Fairbrother demolished the stumps as he slipped over, but got up smiling. It's moments like this that put a much-needed smile on the face of cricket. As an umpire, I've seen all the greatest players. Batsmen, bowlers, fielders, wicket-keeper. And here's my selection of the best that I've seen over the 30 years as an umpire. The best batsman I've seen while I've been an umpire is Barry Richards of South Africa. I thought he was a tremendous player. It was a tragedy that he was lost to international cricket because of apartheid. But he did play in 5 test matches for South Africa, and he averaged over 70 odd, which was tremendous. Barry Richards just edged out his namesake Vivian Richards for my #1 rating.
Terrific shot.
Viv had everything. He was a powerhouse of a batsman who used to pick up the line and length very quickly. That's the hallmark of a great player. And both Barry Richards and Vivian Richards were masters of their craft.
The onside this time. Really another great shot, clipped away through mid-wicket.
One of the greatest English batsmen for me while I was umpiring was David Gower. He was all elegance and style, a wonderfully gifted touch player. I've seen some great all-rounders in my time. Again, I'm talking now as an umpire. Michael Proctor of South Africa rated him very, very highly. Imran Khan of Pakistan, Ian Botham of England, Kapil Dev of India, all tremendous all-round cricketers. But if I have to stick my neck out, the one I go for, and I'm talking again as an umpire, was Sir Garfield Sobers. To me, the greatest all-round cricketer that I've had the pleasure of seeing and the pleasure not only of playing against, but also umpiring test matches when Garfield's played. He was a tremendous all-round cricketer.
And he's got to pick that. That was the right distance. He's hit that out of the ground. That's another one. Goodness gracious me, that peppered the top. You see the chap climbing up there to have a look over the wall. 52 in 29 minutes. That's another one up in the enclosure. 3 balls, 3 sixes, 58. What an incredible bit of hitting. Oh, he's got that shorter one. It's up again. There it is, bouncing on the concrete. 4 sixes in 4 balls. This makes him 64. 4 sixes. Wonder where Nash is going to bowl this one. And that will just carry. No, he's going to be out. Caught out. Oh, he's dropped it. He's over the boundary. 6 it is. 5 on the trot. Oh, this is incredible. Now, this is 6 on the trot's a world record. Been done before, but 70 on the board. And he's done it! He's done it! And my goodness, it's gone way down to Swansea. 6 on the trot. 36 in 1 over. My goodness gracious, what an over.
He was 3 cricketers rolled into one. He was a great batsman. He was a tremendous opening ball, the left arm over with the new ball. He swung it both ways, beautiful action. And also he could bowl his slow nonsense stuff, Chinaman and Googles, and he bowled his slow orthodox spin, slow left arm. And also he was a tremendous fielder close to the wickets. Great all-round cricketer. And on top of that, he was a gentleman. I played with one of the greatest fast bowlers the world's ever seen at Yorkshire, and that was Freddie Truman. He was a tremendous fast bowler. He had pace, and he swung the ball, he left the batsman, and he swung it late, away from the batsman, and it's the ball that leaves the batsman late that gets the great players out. Freddie was great, no doubt about it. But Australia's Dennis Lillee was without any question the greatest fast bowler I've ever seen. He was poetry in motion. He could swing the ball both ways and was quite lethal. For me, he's the top fast bowler in history. There have been a battery of tremendous West Indies fast bowlers, and my choice as number 1 would be the deadly accurate Andy Roberts. Regarding spin bowling, I'm talking now as an umpire. I mean, I played against Jim Laker and Tony Locke and Johnny Wardle at Yorkshire. As a player, they were very, very good spin bowlers. But as an umpire, if I had to pick one, it's a very difficult choice, this, because I'm coming down to 3 spin bowlers as an umpire. I thought Derek Underwood of Kent and England was a tremendous slow left-arm bowler. If he had any help in the pitch at all, he was a match winner. He'd win test matches for you. Shane Warne of Australia, another great bowler of his type, leg spin, Google, top spinner, flipper. tremendous bowler. And I always remember standing in the test match at Old Trafford, Australia v England, when Shane Warne bowled that ball of magic, a magic ball which pitched a good 18 inches outside of Gatting's leg stump, turned viciously and hit the top of the off stump. It was as he just played forward to it, and it beat his forward defensive shots and turned square and hit the top of the off stump. It was a magnificent delivery. I shall always remember that. Great bowler, Shane Warne. But if I had to pick one, the best I've seen, without a shadow of doubt in my book, was Abdul Qadir of Pakistan. Tremendous leg spin, googly bowler. He had everything, this fella. He had the leg spinner, the googly, the top spinner and the flipper. And he always bowled every delivery on an immaculate line and length. He never varied at all. Tremendous bowler. And to watch him bowl, I had so much pleasure stood there at the bowler's end when I was umpiring in test matches watching this fella bowl. And if I have to pick one, that's who I go for. Yeah, regarding fielding, and one of the best pieces of fielding that I've ever seen, I'll always remember Viv Richards' fielding as a young man in 1975 in the mid-wicket regions and the cover point region. He ran 4 Australian batsmen out by brilliant fielding. I shall always remember that, which stands out. And also, I always remember at Lord's when the MCC World 11 played against the rest of the world in the bicentenary test match at Lord's. Roger Harper, the West Indian, was bowling from my end to Graham Gooch, who hit it back. I think it was a full toss. He hit it back straight, and it was like a trace of bullet. And Gooch thought it had gone through for 4, which I did as well, because I've never seen hit it so hard. A piece of brilliance by Harper. He fielded the ball brilliantly, turned and threw the wicket down. It was a tremendous piece of fielding, and Gooch was run out, well out. And he must have been very, very disappointed, Gooch, because he deserved 4 runs for the shot. But there can be only one choice for me as the premier wicketkeeper, and that's Alan Knott. He had a beautiful pair of hands, and as well as his superb work behind the stumps, he was also a very useful batsman. Knotty was very athletic and full of enthusiasm, which used to help keep his teammates on their toes. He was a dream keeper to have in your side. Here I am at Lord's, my second home, the greatest test ground in the world. I have so many happy memories of umpiring here that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Lord's to me is the Mecca of cricket, but they were not always happy moments here, you know. I'll always remember the bomb scare here in 1973. I'll never forget that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important announcement to make. I'm sorry to have to tell you we have received a bomb warning. I must ask you, therefore, to leave your seats, taking your personal...
A bomb warning. If it had not been so serious, it would have been hilarious. It was really frustrating, and I rested on the covers while ensuring that nobody tinkered with the pitch. I ignored the jokes that the bomb could have been hidden under them. Oh, dear.
I repeat, no one must attempt to take a car out of the ground.
It was here at Lord's that I studied the very first World Cup final when West Indies and Australia produced one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Roy Fredericks was unlucky to step on his wicket after hitting a 6 off Dennis Lilly. The fielding, particularly by Viv Richards, was out of this world.
Andy Roberts. Oh, and this must be a run out here. He must be out. Richards again.
There are the fields. I think that Ian Chappell will be having something of a dart at him. Well, there's plenty of open spaces.
Again, they're in trouble, and again he's run out. Oh dear, what a calamity for Australia. And it's this man Richards again. Really tossed it away. Absolutely needless run out there by Australia.
Facing Keith Boyce. Holder. And that's out. the 4th run out of the innings. Oh, he's in trouble here. Must be out. And that is tragedy for Derek Randall. And Boycott knows it.
Oh dear, what a fuss that caused when Geoffrey Boycott ran Derek Randall out on his home ground at Trent Bridge. Dear old Geoffrey did the same thing to me when we were youngsters playing for Barnsley. So I know exactly how Randall must have felt. Oh dear, run-outs are always good for the excitement of the game, but not for the blood pressure of the batsmen and the umpires.
98. 99, will they go for the 3rd? He's fallen, he's slipped down. Oh, tragedy, tragedy. Absolute nightmare. Unbelievable joy for Australia. Atherton wanted the 3rd, was sent back, slipped and fell, and just couldn't struggle to his feet. Oh dear, like running in a nightmare with the feet wrapped up in blankets.
3 runs there if Edris wants it. Oh, in trouble here, he could be out.
And change of mind there from Alan Lamb, and a good piece of work. Stephen Waugh's throw right next to the stumps, and the double breakthrough for Australia.
Third man, Foster was slow to move. They're coming. But the close is out, yes. Good return. I thought Waugh had it covered. He doesn't want to go, but is judged run out by umpire Dick French.
And he'll have a shot at the stumps and hits them down. He's out. What magnificent fielding by Ambrose. That's got through. No, he says no. Oh, Capel's run. Capel was looking at the ball.
Oh, here's trouble. Now where it is. It's the long walk back to the pavilion. He's something else, that Boycott, I'll tell you.
This is the famous long room at Lord's. There's no place like it on earth. This is hallowed ground. You can almost reach out and feel the history of the place, and the cricketing legends who have made the walk through here to put their names in the record books. It was here at Lord's that I had some of my greatest moments as an umpire. I like to think that I was strong on the intimidatory law, unfair, fast bowling, short-pitched deliveries. I always stepped in when I thought it got out of hand. And when you think that bowlers deliver the ball at 90 miles an hour, you've got to think of the safety of the batsman. And also when you think when the ball's whizzing around at that speed, you've got to be strong as an umpire. I always remember in 1973 when I had to step in at Lord's when England were playing the West Indies, when Keith Boyce had bowled too many. In fact, I gave him 2 official warnings there in the innings, and if he'd have bowled another, he would have been removed from the attack. I had to officially warn Malcolm Marshall for intimidatory, unfair bowling. And Clive Lloyd was the captain, and I already told my colleague at square leg, Barry Mayer, that I'd officially warned him. And Malcolm Marshall wasn't very happy. He kicked the ball away. And I said to him, while you're fetching that ball, Malcolm, I'll have a word with your captain. So I called to Clive Lloyd, who was fielding in the slips. I said, Clive, I want a word with you. And he still stood there. I said, Clive, I want a word with you. And he came over to me, Dick Clive, and I said, I have officially warned Malcolm Marshall for intimidatory bowling, unfair bowling. And Clive Lloyd looked at me and said, Dickie, he said, you must be joking, man. We're bowling half volleys, he said. And then when the ball came back, and Malcolm carried on his bowling from my end, I said, Malcolm, you're bowling far too short. Why don't you keep the ball up to the bat? If you keep it up further, the ball will swing more. And from then on, he kept the ball up to the bat. The ball swung all over the place, and he took 5 wickets. And as we walked off, the innings had finished, the England innings had finished, and as we walked off, Malcolm Marshall put his arm round me. He said, thanks for that advice, Dickie. It got quite heated when Essex played Glamorgan in this one-day match, and a couple of players had to be disciplined.
I'm not sure there's the need for those sort of histrionics.
Big shout for LBW, that's out.
Cricket can be a tough old game.
Well, what on earth happened then? Ronnie Irani was out to LBW. He ran down the pitch and ran smack into Darren Thomas. It's dark, but it's not quite that dark. But Ronnie Irani is extremely disappointed.
Oh, the odds are in favour of the bowler here. Quite clearly, the batsman can't see the ball very well. And are they asking about the light?
Suggesting the light's not good enough. I'm not sure if you can appeal against the light. It all seems a bit heated out there. And really, that's not on.
All batsmen, like Chris Broad, for instance, hate to lose their wicket.
Into the stumps, and Broad is bowled by Waugh for 139.
A just reward there for Steve Waugh.
It's been a great life. So many happy memories. How can I ever forget my last Test match here at Lord's? It was a real tearjerker.
Standing in his last match is Harold Dickie Bird, who was given a wonderful ovation by this big crowd at Lord's. He came down through the pavilion and the long room. It was a great moment. And a very emotional moment there, not just for Dickie Bird, but for all the people at the ground and everyone watching on television. Not only has he been a character, but he's been a great umpire, and that is the key thing for all the players around the world. We join play now in the first over. Srinath is the bowler from the pavilion end. Michael Atherton is taking strike, and no runs are yet on the board.
Even with tears still in my eyes, it was obvious that Mike Atherton was plumb LBW here in the first over of my last Test match.
Well, 2 birds having a go out there.
Hey, I've got some great memories.
And we're okay now, just needed the white hat. A nice little march. That bird in the white cap has fixed all that.
Mr. Burt took advantage of that break to sort himself out.
Back's bothered him a bit this morning. And damp beds again.
Again. And, 2 bounces.
Looks all right to me, he says.
What do you think? Looks all right to me. Yes, give it them back.
New ball is due. Does Harold Bird have it? All its pristine glory. That's only Dickie. 3 men in there on the onside. Bowled him, and that is the end of the match and of the series.
I wanted a souvenir stump, and I got one. That's it. Over. It's not quite all over. I have to confess, my friends, that this is how I reacted when I first went out to face the mighty Courtney Walsh. Hey, cricket can be a good laugh. Thanks for your company.